Today we continue our adventure of playing with mono black cards in the format of Vintage. Today my hate bear deck, but I have introduced Entomb and Reanimate package, now only Vintage legal, I guess, so has proven to be giga strong in all other formats, right? So I guess we have to play it here. We have Atraxa, Archon and Sheoldred as a tertiary reanimation monster. Besides that, lots of lands, the Troll of Khazad-dm and all of that. This opening hand is what happens if I draw a swamp, underground, sea even. Because ritual. And I go to 3/5/7 mana, which probably not worth banking on that happening, although Ancestral Recall is a tough one to mulligan. That said, we can just mulligan to Reanimate. Okay, I guess we can keep that. Also, Troll is only Vintage, that is true. This is going to be a keep. I would like to keep... Well, I probably would like to go Grief into my... And it's probably better to have Sheoldred in my deck. Troll is legal in Modern? Yeah. But not alongside Reanimate. Of course. Is what we mean. Opponent goes Tundra, Mox Ruby. Will I get Ancestral? No, niedobrze. Niedobrze. Well, let's Grief. Grief Reanimate seems like my best move. The fact that they're playing Thundertrap Trainer in Modern is always kinda wild to me. This perhaps tempting to maybe get Mai into play. Go Mox Jet, Swamp Mai. After taking a Thundertrap Trainer. That doesn't seem great. So I should probably Surveil first, because if I Surveil an Atraxa or Archon, I'll just get that into play, and that seems better than Grief. Otherwise, I'll get Grief and take my opponent's Bowmeister. Stock up. Am I happy drawing a Bowmeister? Think so. Or am I not? I think I'm okay with that. Like, we'll see if that's good enough to win the game. It doesn't necessarily seem like it, but we'll be trying. Like, Grief into Mai might get somewhere. But lots of card advantage in my opponent's hand. Oh, just straight up cycling. Their hand is Trainer, Tarn, Tundra. All of their CA also doesn't draw cards. I mean, they just like drew Ancestral in opening hand, and that's what happened here. Reveals Black Lotus. Doesn't play it though. Alright, if you really want to take 2 damage from my E, then be my guest. Low. Alright. Rip me then. Their hand is Trainer, Scaling Turn, Black Lotus. They can just grab Lurlus and replay it, which At least the Lurus doesn't produce much value yet, but I mean, it doesn't make things easy, for sure. And at the very least, opponent can just kick Trainer next turn. No, they just play it, I guess, to double block. Solid draw. Everything here working as intended. Right. Unfortunately, there is no discard outlets in my deck, so drawing an Archon means I just have an Archon in hand. For better or worse. Maybe if I draw... Dauthi Voidwalker? Then I could win, just attack my opponent if they keep whiffing. Red, black. Do they just have a PO in hand? That would be rough. Or Force of Will. Should I have played my Bowmeister in the upkeep? Probably. Oj, dobra. To jest już GG. No, unrecoverable. When do I think I'm going to play Celestial Landfall next? I've been loving your list. I think there is a standard Super Qualifier tomorrow, which I probably will stream. So the answer is on Monday. Tomorrow. Now, how do we sideboard? I have a bunch of removal, Null Rods, and not that much to take out. You can maybe remove Archon, just leave Atraxa and Sheoldred as my threats. Sheoldred and Bowmasters are, maybe not surprisingly, but just kind of not that good against my opponent's deck. They are kind of built with the, you know, presuming that you'll have to face off against that. Do I have a sideboard guide for Landfall? I do not know. What's Prowess, though? Is that the Nathan Steuer FOMO deck? Lessons. Okay, yeah, it's not clear to me how to sideboard against Lessons either, so I don't really have a sideboard guide because there's like 10 different approaches you could take and I don't have any idea on what to do. Null Rods and MBT, I don't quite think so, no. I think we're gonna have like 2 Null Rods because I don't think that's the angle I want to take, to board an MBT on the play against my opponent's deck. On the draw, perhaps, but we're gonna have a Null Rod over the Archon of Cruelty. And we're going to resubmit because 2 pushes seems like good enough removal. Don't really want to get flooded with it. Isn't it graveyard reliant? What, Lessons? Or my opponent's deck? Well, not really. Hand seems okay. If I draw a land, I can reanimate Atraxa, otherwise I guess I reanimate Troll. Okay. Misstep quite solid. Troll of Khazad-dm deemed too strong in Legacy in hand. Insta keep. Oh, I agree. Thunder Trap Trainer, too weak for standard, yet rules over vintage. Curious how it is with cards' power levels. We don't really have a value Entomb target. Dobra. Just maybe a bit of an issue if I spend my Reanimate here. But let's go. This can be also answered with just, you know, a plow. But it is a turn 3 clock otherwise. But yeah, I was thinking of a Entomb target for cases like this. I didn't come up with anything good though, which was my issue. Should you be a degenerate and play the arena direct? It is generally not advised to play arena directs on Sundays, because by that time everyone who was playing only because they got a 40,000 games gift card has stopped playing because they ran out of games if they get this many games for Christmas. Which means that I wouldn't do that. I guess I wouldn't be mad to draw a land, so maybe I shouldn't have surveilled. Because if I draw a land, I just Entomb for free. If I draw a land, I can just play a Sheoldred. But if my opponent cracks the bauble, we're gonna kill the trainer, untap, draw a Marsh Flats, play Sheoldred next turn, and hope it's good enough. Lurus is gone. They did gain a bunch of card advantage with their Lurus, which is why they are up 3 cards on me. 1, 2, 4, 4. 2 cards on me. Time Walk, sure. Merchant Scroll. I mean, Recall is dangerous. This deck has a lot of I hope it's good enough, and most of the time it is not. Wow, you're very judgmental after watching 1.5 game. You seem to have realized how all the inner workings of this deck by now. Congrats, you are very observant. 6 mana. Erlingas. Dobra. I mean, you're not necessarily wrong either, it's kind of true. This is sort of a brew, and the brewing has gone off rails. Go to 10, block 1. Do I want to keep the Black Lotus? I go to 1 if I fetch. That's probably fine. To be at 1. Then I go to 3. I guess if I were to reanimate Lurus in the future, it could make a difference. If I draw Reanimate, then I draw a Sheoldred, I go to 4, reanimate Lurus, replay Black Lotus. I don't know what's the next step, but maybe saving life points will come in handy. Or maybe I will get Force of Will and die. Of course, that's also a chance. Dobra. I say dobra, but it wasn't dobra at all. So this game we got pretty punished for Entomb being a dead card. I wouldn't necessarily win otherwise, but I did get punished for that. I drew the Entomb and I was not able to use it, which could possibly be coming up a lot compared to the previous Maya versions we have been running, which were a little bit... Oh, this was 13 lands only? Ah, it was actually 17 because of Bogart Roller, I see. So the previous versions may be sometimes a bit more self-sustaining, so didn't quite love what I've seen out of Entomb so far. What a hand. I mean, I guess I'll keep it. Vexing Bauble into Survaland. And if I find Reanimate, the hand is pogging. Alright, chat, any ideas for a single flashback card or something like that I could play to make my Entomb single-handedly great? Standalone great. When I draw it like this. And Burial Rites, Deep Analysis. I did think about those two. Seem no good, but I appreciate that you're trying, chat. I really do. Opponent pitched Force of Will to Force of Negotiation to counter my Vexing Bauble. I guess what else are they supposed to do? Let it happen? Alright, they have Black Lotus as well, Monka. Let's draw something good. From the Catacombs. From the Catacombs is cool. I like it. It's 5 mana to escape. It's really expensive, but... Yeah, it's probably too expensive to actually matter in most vintage games, but it is really cool. But then we have to play Verdant Catacombs, so that everything, like us, in 4 copies, so that we end of turn fetch. And then we surveil. And we have surveilled from the Catacombs. 5 mana. I drew Reanimate. I do drop to a low life total. 1, 2, 3, 4. I go to 3. That's fine. My being great as always. We'll get Atraxa. Care Pierce. No, no care. Interesting. Should I be racing or not? I have 2 dead cards in my hand. Let's race. I have more creatures to draw than they do. I can stop racing at any time. Like right now. Fuck. No nie, druga Maja. Ja pierdykam. Echo and Bowmasters. Yeah, I guess you could. You could also play Real-Time Twister. That didn't feel too good. But I guess you could. Dread Return. Dread Return is cool. It's free. How was my last Mox Open pool? Quite bad. Wasteland. Filth. Filth is great. Wonder. Fetch a wonder right now. Fly with my... Holy shit. What does Filth do? Does it give fear? I think the Entomb experiment is looking quite bad so far. Swamp Walk. I mean, it seems pretty good with Urborg. But yeah, this game is probably lost, so I'll show you my limited pool from yesterday. From the Mox Open. This was the deck I registered as my main deck. Kinda like an aggro deck. 2 Mai. Wasn't good at all. Tried to like do the best I could have and just... I'm not sure it was the best I could have, because I also had a blue-black deck, which was maybe a tiny bit better, but it wasn't great either. With 2 Deadly Precision, 3 Corrupt Court Official, I had some removal and a somewhat decent curve. The issue was that I was playing a 2-mana 1/1. So the pressure was pretty slim, and I attacked my opponent for 3 damage before they played a blocker and stabilized. Did I lose to White X? I went 2-2. I had Day of Black Sun in my sideboard, which didn't make sense in my deck. Hog Monkey. I had 2 Zuko's Conviction, so alternative build of this deck was to reanimate a 6-drop. I had Ang Swift Savior, so I boarded into blue-black most of the time. Splashing White, I had Realm of Ko and Jasmine Dragon T-Shop, so I won 1 game with just Realm of Ko monsters. So this was probably a better deck, and I played it in most games. 39, needed to add something extra. Had Ang, Day of Black Sun, so, and the Giant Koi, Chiron Crawler plus Zuko's Conviction, so it's probably a better deck. It makes more sense because it actually can win a longer game. It still was missing some draw spells. Could fill the last slot with a first time flyer, a Mai, Hog Monkey, Earth Village Ruffians. I had great fixing in green, but no way to really, like, I had no good cards to splash, so I could splash a bunch of stuff, but I just didn't have anything to splash. I could splash Firebending Lesson. Is Hogak legal in Vintage? He truly is, yeah, you could do that. Entomb for Hogak. Nice alongside Bowmeister. So if I reanimate here, I die. I go to 2 mana. Black Lotus ramp out Hogak. Good luck. The issue here is that my opponent can attack with the Bowmeister alone, and that puts me in a tough spot. In general, Lurus is Giga OP. I don't know if I like it. You find Lurus makes the format quite boring. It is quite boring, yeah. Every time Lurus. No attack. Is my opponent stupid? Well, I can win, so I guess. But I think around the Lurus's rise was when I reduced my vintage play time. Like, the fact that my opponent is not attacking with the Bowmeister is pretty comical, but come on. Alright, this one seems like they can't mess it up. Mai takes another victim. I think so far I did die to Mai more often than I killed with Mai, so... I'll remove the Entombs and Archons, and I'll bring in Stillmoon Cavalier. I don't like Null Rod against my opponent's build. I will just have a bunch of removal. So we can actually kill Lurus. I think we're gonna skip Dismember. Recall, good. Time Walk, good. Yep, seems good. They should increase Lurus companion tax by 1 every vintage BNR. True. Cling to Dust as the thing to replay with Entomb. I think the issue is that you can't quite do that. We have removal post board, so we can just remove the offenders by casting removal spells. This should be unkillable for their deck. They force, so I reanimate, that's why we tap the Wasteland. Do you have a second force? No, awesome. So now I kill their lands and attack them for 2. 10 times. Maybe 9, they probably will play a fetch at some point. Ooh, even fewer times. 9 attacks. Lurus in Vintage without the companion tax was quite insane. Heavy Lotus as well. Because you just went... Okay. I drew Black Lotus, so I go Lotus, Lurus, replay Lotus. So I always get the Lotus, and I always get the extra bonus in the form of Lurus already in play on turn 1. It is not as much the case anymore with the ban. Well, the companion tax mechanic, actually, rather. But it was rough. Do you get Domino Pepperoni with Lurus? What does that mean? With Lurus? Kill my swamp, that's rough. But also, not as rough, really. Do I just cycle the Time Walk now? Has Bobshi been around lately? Not really. Probably doesn't play Magic the Gatherings much anymore. Let's cast a Time Walk, sure. 2 more damage. 3 maybe even. Draw another troll. A bit of trolling. Could pump the Cavalier and make it a 4-turn clock, but it is still a 3-turn clock if I fetch a Survey land. So I'll do that. I love cheesing people with Stillmoon Cavalier chat. Grief. Sure, I'll cast that. Just tap 4 lands and cast it. Da-da-da-da. How do you solve my zombie knight, friend? First, I cast Mox Jet, rendering your wastelands and strip mines unusable. Okay. There is a chance they have 1 land, or maybe even 2 lands, and they just kind of keep them in hand, sandbag them to use when the time is finally right. Cracking the Lotus for blue to cast a Brainstorm. Okay. Not necessarily the most powerful use, but let's see what my opponent is cooking with. Time Walk. I'll push. Mental Misstep. Alright, you'll get to draw with your Frogster. That's sad. Morning, Aljik. Is good, I should say. Whoa, they boarded a Mindbreak Trap against me. Sounds kind of insane. I think I can just cast a Grief. That seems quite reasonable. Attacks my opponent down to 5, then they die next turn to Grief plus Stillmoons. They have to act against the Grief somehow. And it is not that easy. If they Force of Will, they survive, I guess, but I win the race against the Frogstar. And if I don't, if I Wasteland plus Pump, then I'm not killing my opponent next turn, and I'm never casting my Grief either. Ooh. Ditches Days. Sure, so now you go to 4. You can hit me for free. But yeah, good morning, Ashlik. Life is good. Wake up in the morning, play Vintage Challenge. What could be better? Frankly. I guess we could play Frog in our deck as well. That would be a way to introduce more monsters, which is good alongside Mai. Really makes you think. They did Demonic Tutor. They got their literal best card in the deck. It's hard to cast with Dark Ritual, but I guess it's fine. Black Lotus is in their graveyard, so I don't know what they Demonic Tutored for. I don't think they have a solution to Stillmoon Cavalier in their deck, typically. Momentum Breaker, ja pierdykam. Ale jestem wyjebany. They do have a solution to Stillmoon. And I draw my 4th Troll of Khazad-dm while getting frogged. Ay ay ay. No more surveillance. Crazy draws. Well, I guess they Momentum Breakered. They tutored for it. Maybe they drew the Mox Sapphire. They needed to not draw a fetch land. A fetch land was not good enough. Well, kind of ripped me. I still have some good draws in my deck. Like Bowmasters. You mean the 4 trolls in a row? Yeah, I guess that's kind of crazy. A little bit of trolling. Mai would make it hard for them to cast cards. Bowmaster would force them to use the Momentum Breaker. Grief would be a menace monster. Reanimate would mean Stillmoon Cavalier. Back in play, Stillmoon Cavalier would mean a Stillmoon Cavalier. Another frog, so... Alright. Sheoldred would mean a Sheoldred. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. So... Stillmoon, they can gain... 3 life. So they still die, right? They go to 4 and Stillmoon Cavalier pumps itself twice. Seems good. They can't Force of Will, they only have 1 life. They could Force of Negation. Dobra. Momentum Breaker. Is it non-token? A creature, so it seems quite bad against Bowmasters, but I guess sure, like they have to live with that if they want an answer to Stillmoon Cavalier. I don't know how much having an answer to Stillmoon Cavalier is a factor in Magic the Gathering Vintage 2025, but I guess I'm playing them, so non-zero. And I'm playing them because I net decked them, not really, hadn't really thought of them myself. True Name Nemesis, black, and with less power. Giving flying doesn't make much sense. Just exile cards from your graveyard, but I still get to block one of your guys. So what are you exactly achieving? An edict that they can recover with Lurus doesn't seem too bad as a one-off. Yeah, I agree. Lurus pushes people to do stuff. When unnerved Lurus was a thing in Vintage, another Mindbreak Trap, what the heck? People used to run Deadweight, main deck even, because the Lurus Mirror became the most important matchup and you just did that. You just deadweighted your opponent's Lurus or Dark Confidant or whatever else they played. Dark Confidant was also played for a moment then. I'm not sure it should have, but it was played. Speed 3, yeah. If my opponent Wastelands me, things potentially get dicier. They have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage with the Frogsters. Then they draw 2. If they draw a Bowmaster, that would kill me. Well, let's draw a land or a Dark Ritual. I don't hate that. Can be countered unlike a land, but... So we pump to 4 and attack. Nice top deck. Dark Ritual. They distrust my methods, but when they want results, whom do you think they seek? Incantations of Limdul. I wonder if I should play even more removal against my opponent. They probably seek out Limdul, yeah, at that point. Seems like he's implying that. True Name Cavalier strikes again. This is this is the best card in my entire deck. Like the fact that I'm not playing 4 shows you how silly I am. Let's cut 2 trolls for 2 more dismembers on the draw. We have 16 lands plus 3 plus 2. So 25 mana sources, 5 of them are wastelands. Well, seems fine. This hand is not great, so I'll keep it. This hand is great. If I get wastelanded, that's really bad. Maybe I should have grieved first. Probably. Let's ditch it because we want the mana for the Cavalier anyways. But I definitely should have grieved first. That was, I don't know. Why wouldn't I? So much easier to surveil if I do it the other way around. Opponent didn't learn anything, they still kept Mindbreak Trap. They're like, yep, keeping that shit in my deck. I mean, I'm taking your Monumental Breaker, I think. Grief your Momentum Breaker. Classic. They kept on top. Crack the bubble. It targeted me with a fetch in play. Sure, buddy. Also the Mindbreak Trap. Could they really not have cut it? I'll pass. Would like to grieve the Lurus at this point. Good grief. Okay, just lets it happen. Oh, Dunk Ritual. Maybe I should just trade the Time Walk for the Pierce. Probably a bad idea. Could wait for a land and not cast my Dark Ritual here. I'm guessing they do counter the ritual. If they do counter the ritual, I just get to cast a Time Walk next turn though. So I think I should just click it. Can't really expect to hit a land next turn necessarily. They have a dead card in Mindbreak Trap. I mean, I guess Mindbreak Trap means drawing Dark Ritual is not so great, but that's fine. Swamp Cycle. Time Walk. If I draw a land, I will just cast the Grief first. Might be hard to get Revolt for my push. What a hand. What's better, Lurus or Demonic Tutor? Well, I think it's Lurus. Really says a lot about society. It's not a bad hand. Except for the Mindbreak. Lingering Souls. Are we still suggesting entombable value cards? Souls. Sounds good. Kinda, not really. So Demonic Tutor for Ancestral. I figured as much. Alright, don't have Force of Will. Awesome. Bloodghast. I did think about Bloodghast. Bloodghast was my first instinct, frankly. But I think it's a bit weak. Treasure Cruise. It is a bit of an issue with Bloodghast that it's just pretty bad. Lackluster. Squee, Goblin Nabob. You know what, chat? I don't want to play with Entomb anymore. After listening to those suggestions. I have revised my opinion. I will just play something else. Strip mine. Sure. Strip away. I guess it does remove a point of power from my Stillmoon Cavalier, if you do that. How many momentum breakers in their deck, chat? What do you think? Just one? Two? Playset? I'm guessing just one, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they had a second one. 5? Well, 5 times they replayed with Lurus. O kurwa, jeszcze Black Lotus na finish? Not good. Stillmoon Cavalier, can you do the job? Can you close this game? I should have left a swamp untapped. Doesn't matter, but... 4 attacks. 4 more attacks. Second Mox should be the Mox Pearl. Well, I have Time Walk and Ancestral in my deck, which I am supposing is coming up more often than that, but yeah, I guess I should play the Pearl. Red timer for opponent. Frogster in play. They had Spell Pierce, I'll wait till my turn. Kill the frogman. Frogman killed. I pump Stillmoon Cavalier. Maybe I should play main deck Stillmoon Cavaliers instead of all of that crap I'm playing. It's good in, well, it's good in some matchups. But like, it's really good in those matchups. It just solos. I say that as my opponent is preparing to cast their second Monumentum Breaker. What deck can you play in the pre-modern if you never played the format before? I mean, you could play anything, right? You don't need to be a little chicken and limit yourself just because you haven't played it before. Just pick a deck you like. Reanimator sounds good, yeah. I mean, does it? I don't know. Fossil Wool and Fatal Push, okay. So I don't want to reanimate from my opponent's graveyard because of the Psychic Frog. They can make it a 6, 7, 7, 8. If I reanimate Grief, and then I die in 2 turns to that. If I reanimate Dauthi Voidwalker, I have an unblockable attacker. Could also reanimate Troll and then just block. But then I could reanimate Grief. Maybe that's better. Just Dreadnought, I guess. Yeah, Dreadnought is the best. I have found the Replenish deck to be quite simple and easy. Simple and clean. Pretty hard reanimate. How about pumping Cavalier and attacking, then 8 Black Source kills them? I don't know if I like that. The Troll doesn't kill them in one hit is maybe an issue. But I guess it does. I guess the Troll and then just block seems the best. They shouldn't have Troll removal in their deck. And I just have lethal next turn. This way I have 7 damage, 8 damage, 9 damage even. They could Bowmeister to triple block the Troll, that's gonna be fine. But I deny a card draw from Psychic Frogster by holding the Stillmoon Cavalier back. Bodog, E-Dog, Bodog, E-Dog ain't a problem, so... I didn't quite understand that. Blue. What's that, a dig through time? Opponent hitting me with those restricted bangers. One after another. One after another? One after another, yeah. Good morning, CZ Mian. I did have a nice Christmas. I watched Shining on Christmas. That was my... Why did we fly the frog again? So yeah, I watched Shining. I never watched Shining before. And I have to say that they don't make movies like that anymore. Because after watching it, I thought to myself, alright, so what happened in those 2.5 hours of watching, and in terms of actual events, not much. Time walk. Oh, that's why you fly the frog, makes sense. Yeah, I'm really punished for no pearl. Did The Shining change my perspective on the moon landing? I don't remember moon landing being mentioned in the movie, so is that just like an unrelated joke question? Or did I not watch closely enough? They need a time twister. Oh yeah, that would be rough. A bunch of times I have looked at the screen and I thought to myself, oh yeah, that's the meme. That's the meme still frame. Kubrick filmed the moon landing, allegedly. I see. They have another Bowmaster, we can just kill it. With my great top deck Bowmaster. Well, I guess point your damage first. Whatever. We could shoot the army, that would be a really bad play. Do not do that. Do not do this. Damn, we won. We cheesed the opponent twice with Stillmoon Cavalier. And on to round 3 we move. Yup. Ooh, what a hand. Atraxa. Well, is this hand actually good? What I could do is just go Ritual Lotus and play Troll of Khazad-dm turn 1. I mean, I don't know, that's what I would like to do though. Oh, 4 STPs, you say? I could also play Swamp and then cycle. Get a blue source, cast Time Walk on turn 2. Have a shit ton of mana that I can spend. I can't ever cast Atraxa in my deck. I don't have the technology. Mool, it does nothing. Well, if it's a Mool, then I just cast a turn 1 Troll and we'll see. It's not like I can't win game 1 anyways. Because Stillmoon Cavalier is in my sideboard. Alright, sits. Let's fucking go, chat. 4 hits. Tundra, no! Oh, Tundra. STP. Ja, pierdolę. Well, an attempt was made. Null Rod. Yeah, let's go. Why did they ban Troll and Vintage when you can simply just do that? Like, just play a Sarsu Plowshares, what's the big deal? Banten Legacy, bros. What the heck? Just tap your planes. For Entomb Sins. Oh yeah, Entombing for the Troll of Khazad-dm was too strong. Make it make sense. More Entombs. Oi, oi, oi. I was laughing thinking about Da Vinci saying pre-modern used to be good, but it sucks now. And you said, but it's the same cards. Well, allegedly it is not. They banned something that Da Vinci liked. Which defeats my point, but it's funny, yeah. Dobra, I can't win this. I think we were on a good route with this deck, but I have diverting with the Entomb stuff really swayed me away. Next time, as I said, Stillmoon Cavalier main deck. And then, what else do we need? Not much. Hopefully this opponent boards in 2 Mindbreak Traps as well, and then proceeds not to cast them ever. But yeah, the pre-modern situation definitely seems like a format where blue is OP. Which we have seen before, it's actually been every format ever. Reanimate. Ugh. So I go Surveland and then, well, maybe that's fine. If I draw a Swamp, if I surveil something nice and then I draw a Swamp, that sounds attractive. Another approach to this deck would be to play Deathrite Shaman and a bunch of fetches. Just skip the trolls entirely. I think that could be wise. Because my Deathrite Shamans were mostly kinda bad in this deck because I was out of fetches. I am Dauthi Voidwalkering. I guess Ancestral is a problem. Because Ancestral is a strong card. But I can Demonic Tutor for Stillmoon Cavalier. That's perhaps a way. I Plow. I Psychic Frog. Okay, we drew Stillmoon. But I'll kill the frog and reanimate it. Or dismember it if push comes to shove. Then I'll have the option of discarding my Cavalier to reanimate it as well. Force of Will, ditching Force of Will, that's fine with me. We're back in square one, like card advantage wise, they don't have that much over me. And I can try to Demonic Tutor for my own Ancestral. Provided I draw another land, because they were rude enough to draw a Wasteland. Don't love that. Grief. Alright, I'll pitch the Demonic Tutor. I think we don't want it anymore. I will keep the Cavalier so that if I draw a Dark Ritual, we can power out a Cavalier. Bowmeister. They don't want me to pick their Bowmeister. The Saga will not make it easy. Saga, pick up Lurus. Potentially devastating. No attack, no pick up Lurus. Crazy. Attack with my Psychic Frog. Hope to draw a Wasteland. They're not picking up Lurus. Maybe they just play around discard spells. They just want to wait till they get Black Lotus with Saga. Or Soul Ring. I don't know if they play Soul Ring. Or anything like that. I want the Cavalier or the Voidwalker. Cavalier, right? Blocks the monsters. Containment Priest. I guess I'm playing a Reanimate deck, so it makes sense that they have it. But it could be worse. I don't know how I will beat the constructs, though. That seems tough to do. We are looking at a 2-2, 3-3, 2-4-4s. Okay, we're looking at 1-2-2. That I can beat, perhaps. Wait, should I wait? I mean, it's the same, but I could have wasted their mana by waiting for their fetch and hitting it in the upkeep. Ale się pospieszyłem trochę. But now we are in a sort of a board stall. They pick up Lurus, I kill it. Then if I manage to summon Dauthi Voidwalker, we are even. They do perhaps get a frog hit in the meantime. Vasteland. Is there much purpose to wasting? Is it maybe even better in my hand as frog fodder? It could be. I believe it could be, actually. I do save 2 life if I use my Wasteland to cast Dismember. It lets me keep up a Stillmoon Cavalier activation and... Well, but a 2-3 frog is actually meaningful against the construct at the very least, and it's also meaningful against Contamination Priest, the Orc army token, and their frog to an extent. And if I draw a Swamp, I would rather keep that. Long goodbye. That seems like a good enough reason to play the Wasteland. Just use it to tap for mana. Another Orcs from my Orcs. So I never really want to draw with my Frog now. The Frog is on blocking duty. Lurus sits. Spending the long goodbye? Probably. Because it's harder to keep up. Can be countered as well, so they can't interact, which is nice. Let's draw a Swamp now. That is a Swamp. In a way. That gives them a turn to attack with their Frogster and draw a card. I am not extremely happy with that, but fine with that. Because we can start attacking with the Voidwalker and keep blocking in the future. Frog flies. A, dzień dobry, Johnny La Fiesta. Pełen. They attack with the construct. Which is fair, I don't want to ditch my Dismember. So you have smuggled the damage. And drew a card. Demonic Tutor. It's not good. Ancestral Recall is in their graveyard at the very least, but assuredly opponent can find another banger. Dig through time. Time Twister, yeah, that could be an issue. I do get to Demonic Tutor back, and Time Twister costs 3 mana. I don't know if you are aware of that. Well, my opponent doesn't necessarily have 3 mana. Maybe they do, but it is not a given. Time Walk. Seems like that was the card they found. Perhaps. Perchance. Unfortunately, I'm in the same spot where I don't block. But next turn, I will show my opponent. I will start blocking Giga Match. Blocking their every attack from now on, I promise. Black Lotus. That's it. I could cast a Demonic Tutor. What's the best card in my deck? It is perhaps a little bit of an issue that I don't really know. Voidwalker for Demonic Tutor. I could play a Bowmaster. Kill a Bowmaster. Seems like a good start. And I could Voidwalker a Bowmaster. Maybe that's a good idea. At which point I can attack with my frog. And draw an extra card, keep the Stillmoon Cavalier back. At which point Time Twister becomes actually really bad for my opponent instead of being very good. They have an STP. That's fine. Nothing to do about it. I should maybe consider using my Dismember in some way. If they attack me with a frog, would I like to let their frog in to get my Bowmeister triggers? I think so. Can block like this. That sounds quite devastating for my opponent if they actually hit me with the frog. Put a counter by discarding Force of Negation of all things, which probably indicates Force of Will in their hand. Somehow? I don't think it makes that much sense for them to have Force. We can keep the frog in check with my Cavalier and start attacking with the army now. I think I'll do that. I'm saving the Dismember for the next game, basically. I think it is reasonable to save it. Maybe I could cast it on the frog. Because I don't get to attack with my orcs anymore. Opponent can discard 4 cards though. At which point the frog survives the Dismember. I think it actually benefits me to wait a little bit. We could Dismember in response to the first counter. Yeah. Well, but what prompts them to place it? I didn't want to play Voidwalker into just 5 mana Force of Will here. That feels not good. So yeah, I could Dismember and respond to the first counter, but like, why is my opponent placing the first counter? So they will spend their Black Lotus to force now, which I am much more okay with. Means that maybe next turn I can cast the Grief for 4 mana. Is this game 2? I think it is game 2, right? I'm down on time, down on clock. If they draw... Well, that was horrible. Why they don't need to exile 3 more cards from their graveyard now, so... I just wanted to be quicker. Alright, opponent makes a pointless move as well. They actually draw now? It's not so bad for me. Because we get to shoot them twice with the Orc army. Shoot the Containment Priest. I think I don't actually want to pay life for the Dismember. I think I would actually rather avoid that. So you can draw. This will clear up the ground and I can start attacking. Opponent also doesn't have unlimited graveyard cards. I guess they're pretty close to being unlimited, but not quite. So I think I exile Grief to Grief. Drawing a black card is what I wanted. And I can cast a Dismember for no life loss, fly the Cavalier to block the other frog. Attack my opponent for 6. Next turn attack for 8. They'll just discard their entire hand. That's fine. Can Dismember the bigger one still. Strip Mine. Okay, I guess I can't quite do that. Strip Mine is not bad for them. But also doesn't save them. They did discard 2 ways to counter Dismember, so I guess didn't play out too great for them. In their turn I activate my Cavalier to block flyers and then I should be all good to win this. Just give it flying, whatever. Well, but I don't have lethal because they hold back, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So this is a 4 power creature. Attack with all my orcs. It's not great, actually. No dobra, let's continue chilling. Who's got better top decks, I wanted to say, and it seems like my opponent has a pretty decent one here. Dobra. Eventually I will draw a second Stillmoon Cavalier or something, so... Worry not, chat. What a battle. Can draw a removal spell for Frog, that would make things easy. I can draw Orcish Bowmaster. If I attack with the army and they block with the frog, I can shoot the frog. Could kill a land first to make Force of Will, not a thing, but then I'm tapped out of my... Well, I'll kill your C. I think it makes some sense. Then I'll send the Orc Army token attacking. And they block with a Frog, where I cast a Dunk Ritual. And I shoot it. So if they discard a card, we just trade. Which means that now I have two 1/1s versus two 1/1s and I have a protection monster. Okay. Push. Push is good. No attacks. Kill the Bowmeister. In that case, to pump my Cavalier, just attack twice. For free. While keeping the Bowman in play so that my opponent cannot really cast a cantrip. Turn 19, Vintage Magic, at its finest. They could plow their own monster. Also, they could have a Bowmeister. That's fine if they plow their own monster, that's okay. Alright, Canister wins. Which means that I have to win game 3 now. I think we stick to not playing the cards that suck, which is Troll of Khazad-dm and similar. Did Cavalier win 100% of the games today? I think so. I think so, yeah. Round 2, I lost game 1, and then I won post-board games with Cavalier, and round 1 I just died to Esper, Lurus, PO. We are the last match going on, and we are going into game 3, just stalling the entire challenge for everybody. It's good that there isn't some sort of a list that you could be put on for such misbehavior. The MVP is in my hand, so I keep. Probe. You can take a look at my Cavalier, but what are you going to do about it? Just die? I'll play Mox Sapphire. I play Verdant Catacombs. I'll fetch Swamp and play Mai. Restless Cottage. I am not brave enough to play Restless Cottage in Vintage, so it was not that. Can fetch two Swamps to play around Wastelands. I'll play Voidwalker first. Plays around Force of Will on Stillmoon Cavalier. Probably should have attacked first. Doesn't matter that much. Plow. The Mai. Sure. I have a second one, bro, so you just wasted your card. Oh wow, force the Voidwalker, I guess, might as well. So they have 4 cards left still. 3. And a Lurus, of course. You don't know much about Vintage. Doesn't this look a little bit too fair for what I am used to see? It is fair, yeah. Vintage is kinda like more fair than you would think. Or it's more so that Force of Will brings everyone into the sewers with them, and then you battle in those sewers. So like many lists are built with you just battle with scraps often. Frog is good. Dark Rit. Push. Sheoldred. So I agree with you. Lots of decks look like that in this format, and they, well, maybe not lots of, like, I'm playing kind of a brew, so I guess it's different as well, but it is a little bit too fair, but we're doing fine enough so far. I think my deck is actually pretty okay against the Esper Lurus decks, largely because of Stillmoon Cavalier just soloing them. Nice. This game just went exactly how I wanted it to go. My opponent spent Force of Wills on my regular monsters, and then I played more monsters, and I won lately, so it's gonna be nice. Some doctors. Dog toys. He's been healthy enough to not get doctors for Christmas. Is that the worst dark ritual art? I mean, I like it. Is this that opening from Creepy Nuts but in Polish? Blink Bang Bang Born. Full Arabic cover. Doesn't seem like it. I'm not sure which monster to lead on. Is that just Voidwalker or the Null Rod? So I led on Null Rod, but I don't know. If villain is on breach, they could have main deck Mindbreak. I wonder how is that even connected? What about the breach deck makes them play that? I guess if they Mindbreak my Voidwalker, it's bad because I can't reanimate it. But Voidwalker against breach is quite nice. They play gift, so they try to jabait people into big stacks with their big instance. Interesting. I like leading on Voidwalker since if they force it, you have the option to reanimate it. That does make sense, but I have big plans for my reanimate as well. Ancestral. Well, now we can Ancestral as well. I perhaps just will. Chain of Vapor. I guess I will not get to do that. Do I want to sack a land? I don't think so, no. Vexing Bauble, that's a solid draw. We can just lead on that. They probably wanted to counter my Voidwalker. If they are truly... Yeah, they're playing Breach, so they really need to not let this Voidwalker stick. If they force again, they go down to one card though, so I'm not too afraid. I'll keep my Ritual and Reanimate. Seems useful if I draw Sheoldred, Entomb, Troll, many others. Top decks. They have two cards in hand. I draw Orcish Bowmaster. I could cast an Ancestral now with the Voidwalker. They notably did not pick up Lurus, so perhaps they have a gifts. which is probably quite a bit stronger if they have access to their graveyard. They only get it for a moment. So can this really go wrong? A 3-2 is strong, yeah. Reanimate Dauthi before casting Ancestral. Oh yeah, that's also what I could do. That is very true, Kiori numbers. Dobra, is good. I want to cast Ancestral. It is fun to do. They do gifts now, which is fine. We expected that. I'm just assuming that things cannot go that badly with the gifts, but maybe I will shit my pants once I see the choice of 4 cards they present. I could also cast Vampiric Tutor with my Voidwalker, which seems unwise and bad. Gifts ungiven in 2026 vintage. We're not quite here yet, but almost. I have to say I don't truly get it, but I guess it is decent at assembling the Underworld Breach loop. I guess they have Chain of Vapor in their graveyard, so maybe I did. Maybe that does screw me if they actually get to put 2 cards into their graveyard. It seems not simple at the very least though, so that's fine. Using it as an Entomb for Breach is pretty strong with Lurus in the command zone. It is kinda wild to me that Breach is a mildly playable deck in Vintage and not a giga strong deck. Seems really good. Just thinking about it from the Breach experience in most formats of Magic the Gathering, where it was a thing. Demonic Tutor, Mental Misstep, Dress Down, Stock Up. Ale zestaw, ja pierdykam. Choose 2 cards. I choose the cards that go to the graveyard. I'll have to choose Misstep. And then Stock Up. You would put Stock Up and Tutor in the graveyard. That seems really bad. Pray no breach. I mean, I draw 3 before like all of this comes down. It does seem the most reasonable to give them Dress Down and Stock Up. Dobra. Nie ma co tutaj myśleć za dużo. Turo. We got Grief. I could Dark Ritual out a Grief, or I could cast a Bowmeister on top of that. All while surveilling. Dobra. We need monsters to kill them in 2 turns. Mindbreak Trap. Your prediction was correct, chat. Entomb will go to my graveyard. Can they remove Dauthi without Dress Down? They have a Chain of Vapor in their graveyard. They have Lurus in their deck as well, which they could use to... They could just use it. They do have Dress Down in hand, yes. It seems like I am in fact getting punished for cracking my Voidwalker to draw 3 cards, and had I not done that, I would have been in a better spot. If they have Breach, they'll just go end of turn Dress Down and then kill me. So I could Ancestral and draw Grief. into Dress Down. That's not good either. Null Rod is gone. So I think if they drew Breach, I have nothing to do. So I guess I'll just play a Swamp and maybe just attack them. They go to 10. Then I ping them to 9. Then I attack them for 5. No. Yeah, let's go. There is a chance they did not draw. Yes. There is a chance they did not draw Underworld Breach just yet with their stock up. After all, it only looks at 5 cards. It doesn't look at infinite cards. Leading on Mana Crypt assuredly makes me feel that that is the case. Holy shit, chat. This Breach deck seems absolutely incredible. Well, Orcish Bowmasters leaves much to be desired in this format. People don't actually draw cards, they just cast stock ups. Kinda conclusion. Consign to memory main deck. What is that about? Rebuild. Cycling to. So I guess that's a Null Rod solution. Alright, given how this all went down, I'll board out the Entomb package again, as it still seems quite bad. I don't really need removal, but I guess I will keep 2 long goodbyes specifically for Lurita. I do wonder if my deck is has enough threats now. It might be a bit short on threats. Maybe trying to kill Lurus is irresponsible, and you can just blank Lurus with Null Rod mostly. That's not true in the case of Dress Down. Dress Down seems like a really good card against my deck. So I'll register this. It's fine. We have 20 creatures after all. Consign, Breach, sack, trigger. Then kill op on their turn to get around ring protection. That sounds really cool. And makes sense. This hand is nothing to be ashamed of either. I think I'll pitch Grief to Grief just to follow up with Voidwalker into the Bowmeister. Odds of second Grief being useful. Not 0, but nice mana base. Quite tempting to take. Well, just long goodbye and time walk, right? Although not necessarily, because that means that those cards remain in the graveyard, recastable by Breach. They don't really if you don't have 4 cards. I think taking the lands is just kinda not good compared to the other line. Although, if my opponent has a Surveil land in their deck, they could go Mox Jet, Lorien for Surveil, Surveil Graveyard. That means that the graveyard consists of Time Walk, Long Goodbye, Lorien, and a random card, which is 4, so Breach can recast Long Goodbye. Mox plus Goodbye seems fine as well. Yeah, that's a way. That was like the other thing I wanted to mention. The other pairing. You wish we had an option to show the hand in the reveal zone instead. Why? This is great. No Mox makes stock up hard to cast for them. Yeah, that's also nice. And villain doesn't have, like, cannot just recast a long goodbye from the graveyard, so they have to find a true answer to Voidwalker. Time walk. Change equals bad. Yeah. O ty, kurwa, cwaniaku. Drawing a Wasteland wasn't bad. Could kill the red mana for Breach. What's the yellow mana for? They have Plows or... I don't know, Portable Hall. Lurus, I guess, is what's the yellow mana is for. White for a sideboard enchantment that hates Dredge. What's that enchantment? Dobra, I'll kill the red mana. Seems like it's important for them to have red mana and... Over Uncomber? Is that an actual card or... Overcooked? Players can't gain life. If 2 or more non-land permanents entered, instead conjure a card named Food Fight. Say Food Fight. Why is Food Fight an Eldraine card? Isn't it trope that it happens in schools and prisons? Whoa. That's funny. That said, I meant to summon my Bowmaster in the upkeep, probably. Weapon Ancestrals now. Or Mana Drains, ja pierdolę, ale się dałem. Ale się dałem wytrykać jak kurwa debil idiota, nie? Przez to, że nie miałem stopa. This is the cost of removing upkeep stops. You get to play a bit faster overall, but then the cost is humongous. Oj, dobra, co no, trolla. Undercity Sewers, jadymy. Dark Ritual. Could keep the Dark Ritual if I use my fetch. Well, I would be short on mana. Jezu, ale jestem jebany tutaj. Tym mana drainem, kurwa. That's so bad. So bad for me, chat. Seems like a hard choice for my opponent. That means it's going to be a giga hard choice for me. That's lots of mana. Tymczasem chłop poszedł srać. No srać mi na mordę tymi moksami wszystkimi. Seems like I just died. Turn 1 Black Lotus. Reanimate Entomb. Voidwalker. Seems good. Opponent last spotted 3 days ago playing Initiative. Ancient Tomb. Manifold Key, okay. Should I get Archon? Or Atraxa to find grief? Probably Atraxa. Just look 10 deep for grief. Not avoid dying to whatever my opponent does. Time Walk seems good. Wasteland seems good. Null Rod seems good. Dark Ritual seems good. And Sheoldred seems good. Damn, those cards did in fact seem good. Well, Entomb Reanimate redeeming itself. So, I Dark Ritual. Null Rod. Time Walk. Untap. Tag with Artaxa. And probably just put a lethal threat. Is that my or is that Voidwalker? I think my just kind of leaves my opponent with no moves. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if I was wasting or not. I guess you were just right. You are just right, yeah. None of my removal spells hit Traxos, which could be an issue. I think I'll cut Vexing Bauble on the draw. Instantly cutting Atraxa after this game might be a bit crazy, but what am I if not crazy? Why are there police sirens during the Pepsi Man song? What did he do? The Pepsi Man song is actually from the Pepsi... No! That's so bad! Come on. The Pepsi Man song is actually from the Pepsi Man game. And in the Pepsi Man game, you chase people to give them Pepsi, and you are running through traffic as well. Thoughts about discarding it here? I can discard it next turn as well. So it seems worse than just waiting a turn. I will still have 8 cards in my hand. Well, I guess if I top deck a land, then by discarding it turn 1, I can reanimate it on turn 2. So, you know, fair. I guess I'm not beating this with Dauthi Voidwalkers. What a hand! I mean, it's really bad. I do get to surveil and redraw. Turn 3 hardcast Atraxa. I don't have a white or green mana source in my deck to act on top of Lotus. But the hand seems a bit too bad, chat. I must say I have not been made aware of the existence of the card Royal Warden before, so I haven't considered it for my deck, but I think it would be pretty low on the list of priorities, to put it mildly. You can just Entomb for it, that is true. Well, the last hand would do something if it had a hand that... If it had a card that does something with Entomb, so that is fair. I think it would be nice to have something that makes an Entomb live, but I don't think that card seemed good enough. Alright, let's put back Grief. Entomb we keep so we can actually win by drawing Reanimate. Because my hand needs to... Well, needs some help, and this way we have, like, help in one card. Lurus of the Dream Den. Kurwa, no już nie wytrzymam. Jak mi ktoś jeszcze pokaże Lurusa, to... Pierdolne. I draw 3 cards. You truly do. Don't you? You draw 3, I grief you. No, they are pre-boarded with Momentum Breaker and Dark Ritual. What's that? Does that mean they play Doomsday? Last seen deck 3 days ago, Doomsday. Well, the issue is I can't win against this hand. Never I can ever beat this hand. Psychic Frog, 4 Doomsday, 1 Thassa's, 2 Thassa's Oracle. Demonic Constipation. 4 Ponder, I thought this card was restricted. Their list didn't have Momentum Breaker. No, it did. 1 Momentum Breaker, 2 Fail Push. That's OP. Momentum Breaker, what a card. I virtually concede. Unless I draw Bowmasters, then I can win. It's going to be a bit late. Opponent will be able to fire off their Brainstorm already. Has it broken my momentum? Not yet, but it will. Wait, momentum breaker? But I barely knew her. No, wait, who? I mean, I guess I play the Mide, a breaker, and I play Sheoldred. Maybe I can win. Wasteland, Sheoldred. For sure they haven't found a Force of Will with Brainstorm. Yeah, no momentum to be broken yet, so I guess that's my advantage here. They could also go Doomsday, which would put me in a tough spot as I would die. Likely. You go Ritual, Doomsday, Cantrip, Gush, Lotus, Oracle. Oh, 2 life points. Run away. Alright, opponent is not a floater. I can appreciate that when somebody doesn't make you go to your second main phase for a simple resolution of a spell like this. I force Sheoldred. Fair. I understand you fully. Now, if I draw Reanimate, I think I might be still fine. Don't want to spend my fetch. It's my Revolt Source. This is looking grim. No, it's just bad. I can win though. Whoa, missing land drops suddenly. Demonic Tutor. What's the best card in my deck? Is it Ancestral or is it maybe Reanimate on Sheoldred, frankly? Black? Do we ever play around Fluster here? I think my opponent flusters the Demonic Tutor. So I don't. Well, that's fine. It's not the best move, frankly. Ancestral draw Reanimate, that is solid, but Rockster. Notably they have a Vexing Bauble, so they can't even force anymore. So now I can Surveil. Oh kurwa, I gave them speed. Crazy. I mean, unavoidable, but I would have not realized IRL. I guess it's on my opponent to note that. Archon of Cruelty. Nope. Maya. Dobra, jadymy. Maya can get there. For sure my opponent will not draw a land into... pick up Lurus into I can't win anymore. They will stay at 2 lands with no place. Push. That's a bad draft as well, but... Alright, plenty of great draws. Reanimate. One time. Oh, Reanimate, okay. So do I get Archon? Or is it actually better to get Sheoldred right now? If they were to go Ritual Doomsday. Could also get Grief. No, that's really weak. So the Archon kills them next turn virtually, which is a nice upside. Well, Sheoldred, they go to 11. I got attack them down to 7, and they can't really Doomsday anymore. I think Sheoldred might play better around Ritual Doomsday, crack the Vexing Bauble. What is their hand? Maybe another ritual and what? I don't know. They did spew the ritual, so that kinda... Breaker can gain them too. Yeah, well, but that doesn't solve Sheoldred still, because that means, like, once Sheoldred is in play, they will just die to Doomsday damage plus drawing their extra pile. They spend push, and Breaker. I think it's Sheoldred. Well, I don't think they have Doomsday either, but they can cast another one, draw another one, and then cast it. No i chuj mi w dupę i na imię. Good advice. No, good advice. Trzeba było skipnąć kupowanie tego gówna, byś miał więcej hajsu. Alright, one time, something good. They did pitch a dick for time, yeah. They had to cycle the bubble to be able to cast it. Seems like they didn't have the DTT. Demonic Consultation. Okay. Reveals Doomsday. So my opponent exiled 4 cards. We cast Ritual Doomsday. They exiled nothing too important. So I guess if I draw another Reanimate on Sheoldred, could rework their pile. I'm not gonna do this. After all, we are in the 2-3 bracket, so I'll take the liberty of not caring. A, no Bloodstained Mire, no wiadomo, że jebać mnie i wszystko co mi na imię jest, nie? Holy shit, chat, I love Force of Will gameplay, actually. You play cards, they get countered, nothing ever happens. We don't really have Doomsday sideboard. I had opposition agents at one point, but then I just skipped them. So we can't really change too much. Maybe I'll cut the Archon and add Mindbreak Trap. They have frogs, so having some pushes is not bad. Maybe better than the Null Rod. Null Rod seems just bad. Dobra, 3 pushes seems like a good amount of pushes. I like to play first. Hell yeah! It would rock to play first. Nice. Probably put back Mox Sapphire, it's useless. Perfect hand. I mean, I'm gonna get forced, so... I could maybe Voidwalker, Entomb, and Reanimate on turn 2. Let's actually go. They do have Fluster Storms in their deck as well, so it's, you know, not that simple. Unable to scream? Whoa. There's a good chance they cut Fluster versus Black Monsters strategy. That's a great point. I'll get Atraxa into the graveyard. I think it should be pretty good. Sheoldred is a bit too killable. You say good chance. I say let's fucking go. Force of Will. Okay. Seems like my opponent's signature move to pitch Unable to Scream to the Force of Will. Kinda crazy how Unable to Scream is a vintage level removal spell. I guess it is just Swords to Plowshares. Should I add it to my cube? It's the removal spell of choice for blue. Dobra, jebany jestem straszliwie. Entomb is a bad card in Vintage. The entire point of a deck like this is that you...